Welcome into Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. We're going to hit a couple of stories around NFL training camps here on today's show. And let's not waste any time. A report just came in that the Green Bay Packers have made a serious trade offer for Cowboys All-Pro edge rusher Micah Parsons. Now, who has this scoop? None other than Ricky Scoop. Slick Rick, who, if you've kept an eye on this guy, has been pretty good this offseason. Barking rumor, he says, even though I don't think he will be traded. That's an important distinction. The Packers have a very serious trade offer on the table to the Cowboys for Micah Parsons. Hashtag GoPackGo, hashtag Dallas Cowboys. And look, like he said, he doesn't think it'll happen right now. Jerry Jones has maintained they don't plan to trade him despite Micah's trade request. This would change the NFC pretty dramatically, right? I think it would all but eliminate Dallas's chances of being a contender this season, and it would potentially launch Green Bay into being a major contender, whereas right now they're probably more of a second-tier NFC contender at this point in time. Micah Parsons is a hell of a player. He's a hell of a talent. I still think there's untapped upside there that hasn't quite been reached, and that's scary for a guy who basically averages 13 sacks per season in his 4-year career. He's been mostly durable. He's missed 5 games total in 4 seasons. He's really, really good. And it's gotten a little ugly in Dallas up to this point. He's holding in, but they're not having conversations about an extension. Doesn't sound like either side is particularly close at this point in time. And you think about what a guy like this could do for a Green Bay team that has a lot of good players. Like, I think about the Packers roster. They have a lot of B and C level talent. You know, I asked this question in the office the other day. Who's the best player on the Green Bay Packers? Is it Josh Jacobs? Is it Xavier McKinney? Is it Rashawn Gary? Is it Edgerrin Cooper? Is it Jordan Love? Like, they don't have that, like, just dominant player. They have a lot of very good players. Like, they probably go double-digit deep on B-level players. But who's that true blue chipper all-pro? Well, Micah Parsons would provide that, and he would provide it at a premium position where they could use another force at rushing the passer coming off of the edge. I think he could change that team pretty dramatically. I mean, especially if they could get him without having to trade Rashawn Gary. You pair those two together, maybe you send Lucas Van Ness back in a trade. He hasn't really worked out, but it would give Dallas a developmental piece to work with. I think Micah could push Green Bay over the top in the NFC North, and I think at least into the mix in the NFC. Because I do think to win a division, to win a conference, you do have to have a dominant player somewhere. Again, they have a lot of really good players. They don't have a dominant player. I think Micah Parsons would provide just that. What do you guys think the Cowboys do with Micah? Do you think they trade him, or do you think they pass, they end up keeping him? Type T for trade or P for pass. Here's what you guys think down in the comment section below. Now, we are getting closer and closer to 11,000 subscribers here on 4Verts. Would love to get there before the end of the preseason, which wraps up next weekend. Can we make it happen? Daily NFL content. We'll sprinkle in some college football as well as we get closer to week 0 of the college football season. 206 subs away. Hell, why can't we get there on this video? If you want daily takes, news, thoughts on everything going on around the league, hit that sub button. Okay, what would a trade cost? I've maintained I think you're starting with 2 first-round picks or like a really good player plus a 1 or something like that. Like, just with Green Bay, I think if you don't want to give up 2 1s, you'd probably have to trade a player like Rashawn Gary. Like Rashawn Gary, a first and a third. Rashawn Gary, a first and a fourth, something like that, because Dallas gets an adequate replacement back for Micah Parsons. I think these are some other players to keep an eye on that they would maybe consider trading to Dallas for a guy like Micah. Quay Walker, the Cowboys could use a linebacker. Overshown is injured. They're kind of weak at that position. Otherwise, he could help them out. He hasn't been a home run for Green Bay, but he could be a pretty solid starter for Dallas. Lucas Van Ness has not lived up to being a top 15 pick a few years ago, but it would give Dallas a developmental young piece. Romeo Doubs, Dallas is maybe one of the best duos at receiver in the NFL, and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. You add Dobbs. That's a hell of a trio. How about Rasheed Walker? I know he's projected to be Green Bay's starting left tackle, but he's in a competition with Jordan Morgan. They also drafted Anthony Belton this year, so they're a little deep at offensive tackle in Green Bay right now. If they're not planning on paying Walker after this season, could you flip him? The Cowboys could use a left tackle. He'd be an upgrade over Tyler Guyton. Maybe it's Rasheed Walker, a 1 and a 2 for Micah Parsons, something like that. I think that's along the lines of what you're looking at. If it's just picks, though, it's at least 2 1s and probably more, if I'm being completely honest. We're talking about a 26-year-old rising superstar at a premium position. All right, wanted to hit on J.J. McCarthy a little bit, as he's obviously under the microscope this year, taking over for Sam Darnold on a Vikings team that is loaded with talent. And he apparently had his best day of training camp in a joint practice against the New England Patriots, had a really strong day. Kevin Seifert, who covers the Vikings for ESPN, said that J.J. McCarthy's on a heater right now. Deep throw to Aaron Jones. Connects down the right sideline on a wheel route. He threw 4 consecutive touchdowns in red zone drills. Greg Bedard on the Patriots side of things kept stats, and training camp stats, grain of salt, but these joint practices are a clearer representation. He had J.J. McCarthy 15 of 19 with 4 touchdowns, taking just 2 sacks, scrambled a couple of times. Drake Maye, solid day as well, but ran around more, got sacked more. Clearly, McCarthy had the stronger day today, whereas yesterday when they practiced each other, it was a little bit more back and forth when it comes to those second-year quarterbacks. And I think me, along with most people, I'm fascinated to see what this looks like this year for J.J. McCarthy, because he didn't play at all last year with the knee injury that kept him sidelined. Obviously, Sam Darnold had an awesome year, but he's entering a situation with Kevin O'Connell that should be pretty QB friendly, but it's also a lot of pressure, right? And when he was playing at Michigan, they were a run-first team. They relied on the running game and the defense, and he played behind NFL offensive linemen. So making that transition, Kevin O'Connell likes throwing the ball. I think he'll run it more with McCarthy, but he's under a lot of pressure to play well, at least well enough where Minnesota is still at least somewhat of a contender this year, then ideally next year a major contender. They didn't want to pay Sam Darnold big money, so they turned to J.J. McCarthy, who they picked in the first round next year. And I think this just class in general that has a chance to be really, really good is very interesting. I mean, obviously, Jayden Daniels is pretty established. It's 1 year, so, you want to see him do it again, but assuming he has another good year, he's kind of the guy to chase down right now. But Caleb Williams obviously looking to have that second-year breakout with Ben Johnson. Drake Maye gets more stability with Mike Vrabel, bringing in Josh McDaniels as well. Michael Penix Jr., the full-time starter in Atlanta after sitting a lot of last year behind Kirk Cousins. JJ taking over. Then obviously, what does Bo Nix have for an encore? He was better than expected, but it's unclear how good he can actually be. It's going to be very interesting to see kind of how we stack up these 6 second-year quarterbacks come the end of 2025. And I think the biggest unknown is J.J. McCarthy. Good team, loaded defense. He doesn't have to be Superman. He can kind of just be, like, if I'm a Vikings fan, can he be a plus game manager? Someone who just doesn't screw up the game, but also with his athleticism, a guy who can make big plays in timely spots. Because that's kind of what he did at Michigan. He was just kind of a juiced up game manager. When he needed to make a play, he made a play. But, I remember that game against Penn State when they ran the ball the entire second half. I don't think they threw it a single time. And that's just kind of a benefit he had there. In the NFL, he's going to have to make plays with his arm, with his legs. And so he's under a lot of pressure to do that this year. Who's going to be better in 2025? You going with J.J. McCarthy or Drake Maye? J.J. For J.J., obviously. DM for Drake Maye. Give us your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for today's video. Man, if Micah's a Green Bay Packer, that is going to be something. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys soon here on 4 Verts.